Hello and welcome back to another Shadowlands preparation video. So Shadowlands is literally right around the corner, and I think a lot of you guys are doing what you can to prepare for the expansion itself. This involves choosing a main, which professions you're going with, and which covenants to choose. In this video we will focus on professions, and I will give my Solheim talk on which professions I think are good for gold making, to hopefully help you guys choose professions for gold making in Shadowlands. Before we talk about professions though, make sure you grab Students from Zero to Gold Cap Guide, which is an in-depth written guide on how to make gold in World of Warcraft. By using the code Solheim you get 50% off the purchase, so for $10 you get an up-to-date gold making guide that will keep getting updated through Shadowlands as well. It is a one-time purchase that will give you a lot of information, and you will get the updates for free once you've actually purchased the book. I don't do many sponsorships on this channel, but this is a product I really believe in, and it's literally a book about gold making in World of Warcraft, and you're getting 50% off by using my code. So seriously, go check it out through the link in the description. So for your main, there are several paths you can take, and which path you should take depends on your playstyle. Path number 1 is Tailoring and Enchanting, for passive gold from daily activities such as Mythic Plus dungeons, regular dungeons, leveling, world quests, and raiding. Tailoring gives you extra cloth from killing humanoids, and Enchanting lets you disenchant old gear you no longer have any use for, or new gear that you pick up that isn't worth equipping. Disenchanting usually gives more gold than vendoring. Path number 2, Inscription plus Blacksmithing. This is for recipes locked behind reputation. This includes contracts and missives for Inscription, and the Shadow Ghast armor for Blacksmithing. These items are locked behind Honored and Revered reputations, with most of them being locked behind Honored. I believe contracts are still locked behind Revered reputation, but everything has been changing a lot on the beta to make the expansion even more alt-friendly, so we don't really know until it's live. The point is that these reputations will make more gold if you're an active player, and you're actively grinding reputation. Path number 3 is Skinning plus Leatherworking, for raw gold in case you don't want to rely on other people buying your items. Having Skinning lets you skin beasts, and having Leatherworking lets you convert that leather into armor and weapons. In pretty much every expansion there has been some sort of leather vendor shuffle, and I expect Shadowlands to be the same, and even if it isn't, you can go back to BFA and farm Skinning over there and convert to weapons through Leatherworking for raw gold. Path number 4 is Herbalism and Mining. I would really recommend you have this on a druid, but if your main is a druid, then here you go. You can also have this on any character that isn't a druid, but I think simply being a druid increases the efficiency by roughly 10%, if not more as well. If you plan on only having one character at level 60, and you want to farm some gold at the beginning of Shadowlands, these professions will be worth a ton, and you will get a lot of gold semi-passively from doing world quests, as long as you take your time to pick up every herb and mining vein you find on your way. For your alt or alts, there's a couple different paths you can take. Path number 1, if you have herbalism and mining on your main, pick professions that use materials from those professions on your alt. You could have one alt with Inscription and Alchemy, and another alt with blacksmithing and engineering, or blacksmithing and jewel crafting. Exactly which ones you should take I really couldn't tell you, because once again it depends on your playstyle. Inscription makes more gold the more active you are because of contracts, and being the first person to hit Revered with specific reputations on your server can make you millions of gold through contracts. What I can tell you though is that Blacksmithing and Alchemy will be really good for steady gold making throughout the expansion, because of raiding consumables like the Sharpening Stones and Weight Stones for Blacksmithing, aka temporary weapon enhancements, and flasks, potions, and weapon oils for alchemy. Path number 2 is setting up your alts for passive gold making. This involves setting up alts to craft things on a daily cooldown, and for all the expansions this is for example Jard's Peculiar Energy Source for engineering for the Sky Golem, and transmuting Purium bars with alchemy for the Vial of the Sands. Any other path includes the paths we have discussed in choosing a profession for your main. Like for example, if you went with Tailoring and Enchanting on your main, you probably want one alt with Herbalism and Mining, or you might want an alt with Skinning and Leatherworking. Exactly which professions you should have also kind of depends on how many characters you're planning on leveling and how fast you want to level them. Personally, when it comes to professions, my plan is to level up my monk with tailoring and skinning to maximize the gold I make from gold farming. Next up, I will level my druid with herbalism and mining. I will then do the Shadowlands intro on a character with Inscription to get to Oribos and learn Shadowlands Inscription, and I will send all of the herbs from my druid to my character with Inscription. I will then mill the herbs and sell the pigments. I could also use some pigments to make the darkmoon cards. Pigments usually give more gold than the herbs because it saves people time, and people need pigments to craft the darkmoon cards, which is a very hot item early on in new expansions. I will use my second account to mill herbs, but if you don't have a second account you can do this while being AFK by using a milling macro, so you can pretty much make gold while being AFK. After that is done, my plan is to get another character to Oribos with alchemy and maybe even blacksmithing, so I can start crafting raiding consumables and sell that once mythic raids open. I believe alchemy will be what makes me the most gold throughout Shadowlands, especially if I play my cards right. Inscription probably comes in at second place, and at third place herbalism and mining will come in, as I spend a lot of time actually farming gold instead of just crafting things. And for my character that I need to have Inscription, Blacksmithing and Alchemy on, I don't even need to level that character, I just need to do the introduction and get to Oribos. Professions really isn't that difficult, especially early in new expansions. Simply look at what's in demand and crafting that will make you heaps of gold. And a friend of mine made 5 million gold in the first 2 months of BFA, simply buying herbs, milling the herbs and selling the pigments. There's no guarantee you will be able to do the same in Shadowlands, but we will have to wait and see. I'm really interested to see what they do with professions over time, and if we will see some form of Tools of the Trade update in, for example, 9.2, like we did in BFA, because if we do, then that will surely spice things up for long-term gold making for professions as well. On top of that, I'm also interested to see what they do with crafted items and legendaries, to see if there's any long-term gold making options for gear crafting as well, so I don't have to rely on only crafting consumables. But yeah, that's pretty much it guys. I'm also just going to mention that I'm working on a complete gold making guide in the form of a Google document that will be a complete gold making guide covering gold farms, professions, auction house flips, and some general advice and hot items, and it's pretty much going to be exactly that, a complete gold making guide. This will be available to all patrons and members of the YouTube channel, so yes, I'm locking it behind a paywall, but the good thing here is that the lowest membership, both on my YouTube channel and on my Patreon, is as low as $3, and I'm putting so many hours into this gold making guide, and I will keep updating it over time as well. I already have an early version of it out for people to enjoy before Shadowlands as well, but just keep in mind that it's not complete yet. Actually, I guess it will never be totally complete since I will always keep updating it, but yeah, if you want a great gold making guide and support me at the same time, click that join button down below, or check out my Patreon. But yeah, that's it for today guys. I hope I was able to help you guys out with choosing some professions for gold making in Shadowlands. Make sure you click on one of the 2 videos on the screen, and I will see you again very soon.